Hey Scrappy Peeps, I am here with a process video. I know it's been a long time. This one is for Coco Daisy using the January Noted kits. And on screen you see here, I had cut some hearts in my silhouette as templates. I'm thinking of doing a little cluster of hearts. I pulled out a heart doily. There's a whole bunch of the papers from the kit, and I am scrapping my design team photo, the one with everyone on the memory keeping team. And I want to keep this fairly light. The assignment for this is mustard love. So I'm concentrating on the beautiful mustard yellow, which I gotta say this year has been an obsession for me. So otherwise, besides yellow, I'm keeping it in the black and white. So I'm gonna speed this up a bit. I was thinking back to a layout I made early last year where I had a border at the top of blocks of paper, and it seemed so airy and pretty. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I had some scraps already from another project I made and some of the bigger sheets that come like A5 size. So I'm cutting up some rectangular pieces, and they are roughly 2 inches, maybe a little less than 2 inches high. And I'm going to alternate them, black and white and the mustard color. It's pretty simple right now, and later on I'm going to be adding a few more details up there. After gluing down the pieces of paper at the top, and I didn't cut it all the way just in case I need to shift things over, I started concentrating on the center of the layout, and my goals were to keep it pretty airy. I knew I wanted to do a white background with just a little bit of detail, and then these layers, some contrast, and also to sort of call attention to where my face is on the photo, since there's so many people's faces. And I started building it on this side, the left. You will see it shift back and forth. But I went through earlier and took out all the ephemera that fit this color scheme and also kind of fit the theme of, making it on this design team. So the ephemera, I wanted to concentrate a little bit at least around where my face is. And I started with that Don't Stop Me Now, which I really, really love that banner. And just started auditioning everything. That's my process. I rarely know exactly what I want to put on. I really do just try it all, which can be a little bit slow process, but it really makes me invested in these layouts. Like, I feel like they mean something, and I wish I could be a little faster and not try it all, but it's just a compulsion. I can't resist. But I really love the results of this one. I was struggling a little bit here in that I didn't know exactly how I wanted to place the layers behind the photo, and later on I figured out why I was struggling. It was really that doily. It was just too much space of a doily. I wanted something just peeking out, but if I covered it up in a different way, it no longer looked like a heart. So that was bothering me. So instead I started looking at a little detail I can add to the top, and I put these banner pieces and word strip pieces at the top. But then when I was doing it horizontal, and see here I'm folding the paper up, I couldn't fold all the way to the edge, and that was bothering me. So I went back to the middle. I was looking through all the die cuts, some of the stickers from the memory keeping sticker kit, which are really great, but I did want to concentrate on very light decorating in the center because the photo is so busy. At this point, I decided to go back to layering some papers behind the photo. And I wanted something skewed, asymmetric. If you've watched some of my videos before, I do that a lot. And I was trying to do it so that they weren't coming out of both sides. So the composition notebook gives you a nice halfway point. It has the darker paper, and then the other two pieces I end up using just peek out of two corners. I knew I wanted to incorporate a camera somewhere on this layout, so I put that black and white one right above the banner, and I'm like, well, let me see if I can add more. But it wasn't really doing much for me. I decided to see if maybe anchoring down that banner with a staple would work. This is the Heidi Swapp Color Fresh Memory Planner Mini Stapler. I got it because the staples are smaller, not as small as a tiny attacher, but they come in different colors. And I had black staples in it, so I thought, let me try that and see how it looks. And I realized what's really bothering me was the doily. I didn't want so much of it peeking out, so I changed it out. Once I did, it became apparent that that corner was getting way too heavy and busy, and that camera was just attracting too much. It was too dark. So I pulled out the subscriber printables that I printed. There is a mustard yellow camera, so that made me really happy. I hand fussy cut it out, and I'm gonna try it on the layout. I decided to put it in not that corner, but the other corner. Right now you see me cutting out the little airplane, paper airplane, which I really wanted to make paper airplanes a thing on here. Fun fact, I actually studied aeronautical engineering in college, and I thought it'd be fun to have those paper airplanes, but they're not gonna make it on. However, like I said, the camera got moved over to the other corner. That way where the paper meets the doily, it was sort of an awkward space. It covers there, and it can bring your eye towards that side. I started putting more elements on and decided, wait a minute, I need to take care of my background first. I wanted to do some mustard yellow splatters, like I said, keeping it light and airy. And so I diluted some of the Tim Holtz Distress Ink in mustard seed. I mean, how much better does it get that it's called mustard seed? And I sprinkled it around. I let it dry naturally. Sorry, that cut away really fast, but I'd taken the Distress Ink pad directly onto a piece of packaging, just plastic, and then sprinkled on some water to dilute it. And I had to dilute it quite a bit to get it to the lighter mustard color because it was pretty dark. Uh-oh, I'm starting to fall behind on my voiceover. I made a cluster of hearts at the bottom. Like I said earlier, I had these templates I cut out with my silhouette, and so I went ahead and put some of the papers through the silhouette to cut the same hearts, and I staggered them with the black and whites and the mustard ones on top. I put a couple die cuts. They're not in their final resting place. But before I finished figuring that part out, I turned back to the top. It was looking kind of plain. There was a die cut, the one that says yes to this. It's a little arrow, and I put it so it goes downward on top of the black and white paper, and I really love that. So I thought I want to add some in mustard. I couldn't find any die cuts that fit the bill. So what I did is I cut apart the Be Bold or italic, never regular sentiment from one of the cards from the memory keeping pocket kit, and I'm making my own banners. I cut the black and white strip down so that I could put them at the corner, and that way I've got the alternating black and white mustard, and it sort of balances out better that way. And I don't know, I think it's a cute touch to have the banners sticking down like that. Each one I notched a little differently so that they alternate as well. Guess what I did? I went off camera and did some stitching on my machine, and I'm sorry I didn't record that part. Let me know, is it even worth it to show you when I go off to machine stitch? Do you guys know how to do that or want to know more about how to do that? I stitched zigzag straight across the 5 hearts and at the very top border so that you know, you have that detail repeated. And now I'm working on that bottom cluster. I felt like it needed something more, and I also was trying to fit in the paper airplane. So my first idea was to add that round label because I needed something that had a little bit of white space and less angular angles. While I was pondering, I ruffled up the hearts a little bit. It was a little hard to do after doing the stitching because they're stuck together pretty good. So next time, just a little tip, ruffle up before you stitch down. Oh, the other thing I thought was maybe I would do some stamping on the background as well, just to add more interest. That's why I stuck those 2 arrows there. But then I was like, this is going to be too much for the eye. I like to keep things in clusters, and if I had random arrows everywhere, I mean, I could have done them in a very light yellow, but in the end, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I pulled off the teeny 2020 saying on the stamp. Now, this is from the Pocket Memory Keeping Kit, and that kit is still available in the shop, so you guys should go check it out. Also, quick reminder, if you subscribe at Coco Daisy, put in my name when you're checking out, the whole name, I guess, Iris Fox, and you'll get a discount on your subscription. I don't know what the discount is because it depends on the kit. They're not all the same price. So anyways, I stamped the 2020 twice on that label, and then I moved everything over. I decided to fill in the gap on the side of the bottom corner, and that makes me a lot happier because it echoes the fact that the stuff on top goes off the edge. And I clustered everything slightly differently so that the arrow that says thrive and flourish is pointing towards the photo better. I added a little bit of little staple details in a couple spots, 3 spots to be more accurate, and I did do the tiny one, the tiny attacher one, because I just can't resist the little tiny staples. Slowing down to normal speed so you can see the details a little bit better, the stitching up above there, splatters, a little bit of all the layers, and then I did prop up the do more of what makes you happy on a little bit of foam. Here are the still shots. Thanks guys for tuning in. I feel like it's been forever since I did a process video, and I'm so happy I got to do this one for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not a subscriber, if you feel like you want to subscribe because you liked what I did. And for everyone that's been here with me for a while, thank you so much. I will have a link down below to the Coco Daisy kits. Don't forget that pocket kit is still available. And to any supplies I've used. Thanks so much. I'll see you here next time.